Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nate from Nate Fitness, and welcome back to the channel. Today I got a pretty interesting video for you guys. We're going to be looking at 5 unwritten rules in the gym. But before that, guys, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who watched my channel intro. Really means a lot. I got quite a few likes. I didn't think anyone was really going to watch it. So yeah, thanks a bunch for everybody who's checked that out. But yeah, without further ado, let's crack straight into these 5 rules. And just for one final thing, guys, before we get into this video, these are 5 unwritten rules, okay? So these are rules that gyms don't enforce or really talk about, but these are rules that I think you should talk about. So, things like, wiping down your bench, re-racking weights, being hygienic, wearing clean clothes. All of these are rules that most gyms that are worth their salt will be covering, and as such, these aren't going to be in this video. Okay, these are rules that, are maybe more obscure, more of a social kind of rule. They're not really, enforced by gyms, but these are rules that I think that if you were to follow and you were to implement, they will make everybody's gym experience just so much better and make just the environment will be better for everybody in the gym. Okay, so coming in at number 5, guys, the first rule that we have is don't stare. Now, this rule is kind of one that needs to be considered in the sense of, what staring really is, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody, including myself, that, glancing over at someone or, giving them an acknowledgement, whether it be a nod, a wave, whatever it is, that's a little bit different than if you were just to, sit there and stare at someone. You know, I think it's very rude if someone was to give you a wave or a nod of acknowledgement and you don't acknowledge them back. I know some of us maybe don't notice or, aren't really in that kind of mindset to, want to acknowledge people because we don't want them to come and talk to us because maybe we're a little bit anxious. But, I'm meaning things like sitting there and just staring at someone and, maybe even making eye contact with them indirect, without them wanting to make eye contact with you. I think it's very, very, it makes people feel very uncomfortable and, yeah, like I myself have been a victim of this where I'm just, minding my own business. I'm doing my reps, doing my sets, maybe changing the music on my phone and I feel eyes on me. So I'm looking around like, why do I feel eyes on me? And I'll look up and I'll make eye contact with someone. And, I'm of the opinion that if I make eye contact with someone, they were already staring at me. So yeah, just be mindful, guys, because, especially if you're new to the gym, or rather someone that you're looking at is new to the gym, if they think you're staring at them, they might think that they're doing something wrong or that you're, judging them or something like that. And, you don't want to make people uncomfortable with staring at them. And, another thing, this maybe goes for both genders. It's not just a gender issue for men, but, don't just stare at members of the opposite sex and ogle them. We're all here for the same thing. So, yeah, just be mindful of everybody, guys, and don't stare. For our next rule, guys, rule number 4, we have don't curl in the squat rack. Now, this one here is probably going to offend a lot of arm Andes. A lot of people who do this kind of behavior, it's probably going to make them a little bit salty. But, I personally have no issue with people doing certain exercises that aren't squats in a squat rack or a cage. If they're doing overhead presses, they're doing lunges, they're doing any kind of compound movement, even deadlifts to a degree in a squat rack or in a power cage or anything like that. I mean, that makes sense to me. It is what it is, especially if the gym's empty. But that being said, guys, don't do bicep curls in the squat rack. Okay, there's even sitting down and doing tricep extensions on a bench. Moving the bench into the squat rack to do your tricep extensions. In my mind, there's the whole gym that you could go and do your bicep curls. There's preloaded weights you can go and use. There should be no reason that you're in the squat rack doing bicep curls, guys. I don't care if you're trying to flex in front of people. I don't care if you want people to look at you. I don't care. You should not be doing bicep curls in the squat rack. And it's even worse if for whatever reason you're doing bicep day and on leg day and you're doing your bicep curls and then you're squatting and bicep curls. Just don't do that. Don't be that guy. People need to be able to use the squat rack for squats or for leg day exercises where they're got heavy load on their back. You shouldn't have to make them go and do some good morning into a weird position and potentially injure themselves, guys. Not for the sake of doing some barbell curls. Like, come on. Yeah, just don't do this, guys. Don't be that guy. Coming in at number 3, guys, we have be mindful of personal space. Now, this applies anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are in the gym. You could be at the lockers, you could be at your bag, treadmills, the weight section, the bathroom. It doesn't matter where you are, guys. Please be mindful of other people's personal space. and your own. But one of the key places that this really comes into effect is actually at the dumbbell rack. The amount of times I've seen someone doing, hammer curls, bicep curls, tricep extensions, anything like that, right in front of the dumbbell rack, impeding the rack from everybody else so that nobody else can, reliably or easily get their weights. Because not everybody can carry around a 30-kilo dumbbell like it's nothing. Some people might struggle to move the dumbbell, and so having to weave around people and bob and weave, it's not ideal. And this applies to when someone's doing an exercise, even if they're not directly in front of the dumbbell rack or anything. If someone's doing DB lat raises, or maybe they're doing DB flies or something like that, don't stand right next to them, an elbow reach, and annoy them and get all up in their personal space. Guys, don't be that guy. Give them plenty of room to be able to do their exercise, in the hopes that they're going to do the same to you. Nobody likes having someone all up in their personal space, having to look over their shoulder like, oh, am I going to hit this person? They want to just be focused on their lift, doing the best that they can. So yeah, be mindful of what other people are doing, guys. It's really that simple. Personal space, guys. We've seen it with, having to have your bubble and stuff in recent times because of recent reasons. It's the same in the gym, not to 2-meter extent, but just be mindful of everybody and, do your own thing. There's no need to be standing right next to someone, sniffing their armpits, guys. Come on. Coming in at rule number 2, guys, we have don't walk in front of people. Now, this one here in recent years, because of TikTok and the whole gym thing that's been going crazy, is becoming more and more well known and more enforced and used in the gym, which is great. But for me personally, it's a super big pet peeve. If I'm set up and I'm doing heavy squats or heavy deadlifts, or even if it's not heavy and I'm just doing bicep curls or I'm mid-set in an exercise, and someone walks past me, seemingly oblivious that I'm even standing there, which in my opinion they knew I was there, so they're trying to mog me by walking past. Don't do that, guys. Like, even worse if they've got a camera set up. Like, I've had that happen to me so many times where I'll be, at this front bench, or rather the bench is like in the middle of the gym, and someone moves their bench and puts it in front of mine, and they start working out right in front of me, and it's just like there's plenty of room for everybody, guys. There's no need to be walking in front of people and carrying on. And I know that it can be, if you're a little bit tired or you're a little bit anxious or you're a little bit of whatever, you might not remember, and you may happen to just walk in front of someone, and maybe people don't seem to mind as much. But for general practice, guys, always walk behind them, especially if they're in mid set, guys. Because it's just the nice thing to do. They're focusing on themselves. They're focusing on what they need to do. They've got tunnel vision. The last thing they want is a distraction walking in front of them and potentially, throwing them off their game. And obviously, if you don't walk in front of them, you don't risk ruining a video. I know that, people recording in the gym is a little bit of a taboo topic. Some people say that, just because they're recording, it doesn't mean they own the gym. It doesn't mean that people can just walk, that they don't own the space. That's fair, I can see from that side, but also they might be recording for a multitude of reasons. Perhaps they're trying to get, critique on their form in some way. Perhaps they want to upload a PB or a PR. There's a lot of reasons why you shouldn't walk in front of people, guys. It's just general practice. Walk behind them, just stay out of their line of sight and their traffic, and hopefully they'll do the same for you whenever you are, trying to record a video or you're trying to do a crazy set. Now, because I had a lot of fun making this video, and because I love you guys, I'm going to give you guys a bonus rule. And this one here is a little bit controversial. Some people will agree, some people will say that it's uncalled for, and some people will just, call me a shitter or a fucking, a beta or whatever. But this rule is keep to yourself. Now, this by no means that you shouldn't, introduce yourself or, talk to someone or, have social interactions. For a lot of people, the gym is one of the best places to go and meet people. They hang out with their friends there. They all get together and have fun and lift and better themselves, and that's cool. I'm not saying not to do that, okay? I'm not saying that you have to keep your head down and, act like you're fucking battling your demons and, you want to go neck yourself. But all I'm saying is, if you're in the gym and you see someone and they're minding their own business, but maybe they're doing bicep curls and, they're not getting the full range of motion, they're not pinching on the top of the set, top of a rep, don't go up to them and be like, oh, you're doing your bicep curl wrong, you're not strict enough. Nobody wants you to be that guy. If they wanted your advice, they would ask, okay? this doesn't really apply if someone's doing something like immediately dangerous to their health. Okay, imagine you see someone and they've got 250 kilo on a deadlift and they're trying their hardest to pick it up. They're bent like a rainbow, and by all means walk up to them and say like, hey, you're gonna injure yourself. Lower the weight, or just be more mindful of your back. That's fine. Or if they're on leg press and they've got fucking 350 kilo loaded up on there and their legs are locked out and they're gonna snap in half, by all means just go up there and tell them like you're seriously at risk of hurting yourself. But otherwise, like, just introduce yourself and be like, hey, like, I'm such and such. Let me know if you ever had any questions. Like, I'm down to help you, down to hang out with you or whatever. But don't just go up and give your advice just for the sake of doing it. No one wants to be mogged in that way. No one wants to have some random stranger come up and critique their form, and because that means multiple things. That contradicts the rule earlier. Don't stare at people. You were obviously watching them for long enough to see what their form was like, and it's just gonna really hurt people's ego. And hurt people's confidence. If I'm new to the gym, I've been there for 1 week, 2 weeks. One of the things that I'm anxious about is that I'm going to look stupid and fail already. So if someone comes up to me and they're already critiquing my form, of course I'm going to be like, yo, like, I was right. I look like a stupid, I look like an idiot. I look dumb. Mike Trenton over there is judging me. They're not going to come back to the gym, guys. So keep to yourself or your clique, and don't just go around, throwing your advice where it's not warranted or wanted, guys, because it does more harm than it actually does good. Even if you think it does good, it doesn't do good. And finally, guys, coming in with number 1, the final rule, the unwritten rule: use appropriate weights. Okay, now I can't be the only one that's been in the gym. I've just done, a set of 12 reps on 80 kilos, and I'm feeling warmed up, I'm feeling pumped. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to smash this next set. But what do I want to do? I want to put two 2.5s on. I want to do 85 instead of 80 for this next set because I'm feeling powerful. So I look down, I look on the rack, and guess what? There's no 2.5s, there's no 1.25s, there's nothing, there's no weights, they're all gone. They're in oblivion. No one knows where they've gone. So I look around and I'm looking in the gym, and I thought these weights magically restocked. Where could they be? Lo and behold, Arm Andy's over there. He's got the barbell doing deadlifts. He's got 5 fucking 2.5s, 3 125s, 220s or whatever. He's got a whole bar loaded, weights just falling off the side. Don't be that guy, okay? 4 2.5 kilo weights is the equivalent to 10, so there is no justification in my mind to be using 4 2.5 kilos. And I don't care if you're going to sit there and say, but I'm doing progressive overload. That's how progressive overload works. If you're doing 2.5 kilos and then you want to progressively overload to another 2.5 kilos, or if you're doing a drop set, for example, then just change the weight out. If I want to go from 2.5 kilos to 2.5 kilos, just do a 5. It's the same thing. And if you're going to sit there and say, but I'm trying to do stability training, so I've got my weights weighted out in different parts of the bar, I'm sorry, but there's more efficient ways to do that kind of training than to just use up 10 2.5 kilos. It's just weights. Gyms don't have infinite plates, and a lot of people are looking for those plates, and the plates are in high demand, especially when the gym's busy. So just be mindful of what you're doing, guys. Using 110 kilo is better, or rather 210 kilos is better than using 8 2.5 kilos, guys. It just is. At the end of the day, it's one of my biggest pet peeves. It triggers me so much, and I know for a fact it triggers a lot of you guys and a lot of other people as well, guys. Use the right weights for the right lifts. Don't hog plates. And don't be that guy that's on the leg press and he's got, 40, 20 kilo plates and he's moving at about an inch. Is moving it more than his fucking IQ. Don't be that guy, guys. Be mindful, be generous, and be considerate to everybody else that wants to use the plates. Because otherwise, you're going to end up, going for a boot ride. So with that being said, guys, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. What did you guys think about the 5 unwritten rules that I laid out here? There is a lot more rules, I'm sure, that are unwritten. I've seen Reddit posts where it's, 30 unwritten rules that you should follow. There are a lot, but I feel like a lot of those, for most gyms, are actually written rules, and they're ones that you should be following anyway. But, if you have unwritten rules that I didn't put in this video, drop in the comments. Tell me what kind of things in the gym annoy you. What kind of pet peeves do you have in the gym that are maybe a little bit should be considered unwritten rules. And yeah, guys, feel free to comment. Love hearing your support. Thanks very much for watching. If you liked the video, drop a like. If you lift heavy weights, subscribe. And remember, guys, that was heavy.